Yeah, I'm gonna start off by thanking Big Dave, Pops, Little Dave, for giving me the opportunity to speak. I talked to other pastors, and some churches, ministers don't even get a chance to even speak, let alone sit in the pulpit. So it's an honor for me to be able to get up and speak. It's a privilege for me to be able to get up and spread God's word to people. And the thing I was going to talk about today was being faithful, faithfulness and fear. And how you can't be that good, faithful servant that God wants you to be living in fear. It ain't no way. It don't even mix. And, I've been dealing with fear, a lot. All throughout my life, I dealt with fear. As far as, even accepting my calling, there was a lot of fear. There was a lot of thoughts in my head like, don't nobody want to hear what you got to say. You don't know everything. You don't know. You be public speaking, that's another fear. And all it is it has a crippling effect on your life. And you can never get to being that faithful servant that God wants you to be, living in fear. Okay. So I was going to start out by, we was going to start in Matthew chapter 25. And it's a parable. We know Jesus used parables to explain certain things, give examples to certain things, something we can look at and be able to compare. We can compare, look at a parable and we can compare it to our everyday life. And we know God, in the book of Matthew, God, he used, I think I read it was like 20, he used 20 some different parables in the book of Matthew, Jesus did. So the one I was talking about is the parable of the talents, and not to let fear affect your talents. In this chapter, talents, he was using talents as far as, let's just start reading it. Matthew 25, verse 14. For the kingdom of heaven is a man traveling into a far country, who called his own servants and delivered unto them his goods. And unto one he gave 5 talents, which I looked up talents, and it was actually money. 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to every man according to his several ability, and straightway took to his journey. Then he that had received the 5 talents went and traded the same and made them other 5 talents. And likewise, he that had received 2, he also gained another 2. But he that received 1 went and digged in the earth and hid his Lord's money. So we had the 2 servants. One was given 5 talents. The other one was given 2. And the third servant was given 1 talent. And after a long time, the Lord of those servants cometh and reckoned with 1. And so he that had received 5 talents came and brought other 5 talents, saying, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 5 talents. Behold, I have gained aside them 5 talents more. So he gave him 5. The Lord came back. He asked him, what have he done with his talents? And he told him, I got the 5 you gave me, and I gained 5 more. Amen. His Lord said unto him, well done, thy good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy heart. He also then received 2 talents, came and said, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 2 talents. Behold, I have gained 2 other talents beside them. His Lord said unto him, well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. You gotta look at that word faithful his Lord said in verse 23, his Lord said unto him, well done, good and faithful servant. And it has said, well done, good and trustworthy servant. And you know, you look at trustworthy, somebody think you're trustworthy, that's a good feeling for somebody to believe that you are trustworthy, to believe that you can do what they ask you to do. Like, yes. I say as far as, you know, the job and so forth, I have been dealing with myself as far as being more faithful at work, being who God wants me to be at work. Most days, you know, you go out there, and I know when Dad's out there working, everything is rolling good. I'm talking about bricks. You know, we all about laying brick and block. If you ain't laying a certain amount of brick and block, we ain't making no money. Yes. Nobody making no money. Everybody but the workers. But the heads, we're not getting no money. And I know when they're out there, man, he works so hard to where it puts pressure on everybody else up on that wall to do their part also. So it just made me realize that I have to be more faithful. You know, I have to, when we go to break, I got to be the first one back. You know, just set an example. Yes. When we land, I want to be have the best looking break out there. I want to be the fastest out there because it applies pressure. It makes everybody else come on with it. Yes. So it's just, you know, being more faithful, not just going through the, you know, okay, I'm at work, you know, barely getting through, but making this company where it needs to be, where God said it's going to be. Verse 24, then he which had received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew thee that thou art an hard man, reaping where thou hast not sown, and gathering where thou hast not strawed. And I was afraid, and went and hid thy talent in the earth. Lo there, and I was afraid, and went and hid thy talent in the earth. Lo there, thou hast that in thine. His Lord answered and said unto him, thou wicked and slothful servant, thou knewest that I reap where I sowed not, and gather where I have not strawed. Thou oughtest therefore to have put my money to the exchanges, and then in my coming I should have received mine own with usury, which is interest. Yeah. Take therefore the talent from him, and give it unto him which hath 10 talents. For everyone that hath shall be given, and he shall have abundance. But from him that hath not shall be taken away, even that which he hath. Yes. And cast ye the unprofitable servant into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Mm-hmm. So when I read that, you know, it just let me know how important it is to God to be faithful over what you got. Be faithful to him. Be a faithful servant to him. Because, like I said, he cast this guy into the outer darkness. And like I said, the third servant, he might not have been trying to, you know, he might have thought what he was doing was right. That's right. Putting up the lures, you know, putting up the money that his master gave him, and but it really won't. He wants us to multiply in life. I mean, you know, be fruitful in life. Be fruitful in life. Yeah. So he took all 10 minutes and went hid his. You know, so I guess that's all you say. You see the other two, they multiplied theirs. And so let me see. I had looked up the word fear, and it was like a painful emotion or passion excited by an expectation of evil or apprehension of impending danger. And it has some, you know, different, I guess, synonyms of fear, which be like anxiety, timidness, and how I know just when I was thinking about what to preach about this week, I never could get anything, and it was starting to kind of put me in fear, you know. And I was like, man, I accepted my call, I studied, and I still hadn't heard nothing. So, you know, when I got to work, was it Wednesday? I was walking up on the job, and these walls that we on, at the top of the wall is maybe a little over 50 foot. And the scaffold that we use is a gas-powered electric scaffold where, you know, you hit a button and it raises. It's no more able to climb. You have to climb. But my point is, when I got on the job, we was at the very top. And I was walking and I was looking and I was like, man, it's such a tall, you know, because you have to climb the ladder to get on it. But once you get on it, you know, it's all good because you know. But I was looking at the ladder and I just was getting in fear. I was like, man, what can I tell one? And I ain't got to go up on the scaffold anymore. And something that came to mind that I always hear is, let me see, we turn to this 2 Timothy. 2 Timothy 1:7. And I always use this even when we was young. Mom and them had sent us the Word of Outreach, Christian Academy of Action. They always brought this scripture up, which was God has not. Let's turn to 2 Timothy 1:7. For God had not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. And I just say that to myself, you know, anytime I can feel fear arising, I know that it's from Satan because God hadn't given me a spirit of fear. So I had to quickly throw it out and climb that ladder. And I be holding on so tight, it take a crane to pull me off this something. But overall, God just wants us to be faithful. Yes. Faithful with what little we have. If you got a lot, be faithful with that. That's right. Because it is very important. I know the prophecies about the church. Look at the church we in now. That's right. And look how Walter, how faithful he is. Look how he treats the church, how he stays pretty clean in here. And how he just, you know, it won't be shocking to where when we get to the point where we're supposed to be as far as church-wise, members, it won't be no big deal because he's been doing it with what he got right now. He's been doing it with the few members he got right now. That's right. So it won't be no real big deal. And that's how he wants us to be, even with the company. He wanted, with the guys that we got right now, the size jobs we got right now, be faithful with that. I mean, do the best you can. Yes, sir. And things will work out. And fear, you just have to, like I said, I stay on myself with fear because, like I said, fear can have a crippling effect. It can make you miss out on so many blessings by you thinking that something is, but it really ain't there. You got the power over everything that comes up against you. You have power over. That's right. And that's about pretty much all I had. I prayed before I got up, and I thank God for getting me out of being so, you know, timidness or shyness or, you know, just being scared. That's all it is fear. Right. And like I said, if anybody out there have any trouble with fear, you can always remember that it did not come from God. That's right. It's strictly from Satan. Exactly. And all he want to do is just ruin your life, really. Make you have a bad way of life. A bad, it's like a way of life, or a bad quality of life, bad quality of life. And that's all I had. Oh yeah, this is. You still look at that loud on there. We got to climb here.
I'm on the top of the wall.
Yeah, you just have to be used to it, you know. But you have to be real careful though. The ladder is the biggest part, is climbing that tower to get up there. But once you're up there, which it don't bother me, because that's all I've ever done. But he was doing a good job. I was just sitting there, I was thinking, just to hear some things you said today, which we've been compensating, haven't we, and Laura, and even with Christian. I was going to have a meeting with you guys where to push you all into even more, step it up. Because, you know, I ain't going to do it. I ain't got another 20 years. I'm going to do this. You know, I'm not going to work like I work. But he'll tell you, I mean, Dump will tell you as well. It's a whole new ball game when I'm on that site. Whole new ball game. But see, that same effect got to carry on. You see, yet that same effect you all got to have that same effect on that site. It's just as though I'm not there. And they know what I stand for. They know when I get down and play, I'll say what I got to say. If they don't like it, they can hit that road. They know that. But it's all about business. But you know the thing about it, you're doing a good job. It's good you said what you said, because I'm finna get ready to release you on the job in Pine Bluff. That's gonna be your next one. And you know, not to. The thing that I always tell Laura and I tell Dump, you got it. You just got to know you got it. That's right. When I put you out there on Markham, on that dental clinic, a little job ain't no different from a big job. It's just more quantities. You take a little job, got 10,000 bricks, you take a big job with a 500,000 bricks, it's the same thing. One brick at a time. That's it. And the thing that I often tell them is when it comes down to what you do, I don't know if any of you ever follow his Facebook page. Do y'all see the work he do on Facebook?
Yep.
And I often say, if he can do it for him, he can do it here. What's the difference? Same job, same brick, same mortar, same thing. Thinking about how to troubleshoot it and do it. It's just, you know, it's all, the difference is we're dealing with architects, engineers, and superintendents and all that stuff versus just dealing with a homeowner. It's all the same principle. It's just being used to it. But like your brother always say, ain't nobody out there go out and lay the blocker. Nobody. Not yet so far. That ain't bragging, Jared. Those are facts. Am I telling the truth? Yeah. Who go out and lay me? Nobody. Because that's a skill that God had given me, and I pride myself to get to where I am. That wasn't no accident that I got there. I pushed myself when I started in this trade to get to where I am. That's why I'm like that now. When I walk out on that job, I still work just like I'm a 19, 20-year-old person. I don't move like a 56-year-old man on that job. They don't even believe I'm 56. I can outwork those 20-year-olds on the job. Can I do it? Ain't nobody on that job can outwork me. But that's because I want to be like that. That's by choice. Now, you give me a pretty good run for your money. I've been watching you lately. And we've been watching it. And what you say about him?
He getting good too.
He getting pretty fast on the wall lately.
Like some people, like it become magic. That trial become magical or something like. I know they know the guy because man, I've been laying them suckers this week so fast. I was leaving pretty. I was like, look at this right here.
I tell you, it's learning all the tricks to the trade. It's just like I tell Doug when he first asked me about it. You remember you first asked me about going over the line?
Yeah.
And how about one stroking, what that do for you? It increased your speed. You one stroke. I don't play with my brick. I stroke it one time and I hit it. Everybody else, what they doing? Scrape, 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 scrape. Tapping on it, beating on it. But that comes, you develop that skill. But I developed that skill as a young man because that's what I wanted. I wanted to be the best at what I did. I wanted to be the fastest. I wanted to be like that. And then, you know, just last year, I think it was, and I'm gonna let you close. When that last year, they was trying to get me to go get in that competition.
Yeah, ABC.
I said, man, I'm too old for that stuff now. You know, go out here land in Nevada against these 20-year-old boys. I ain't gonna do that now. I mean, you with an F-250 truck and
10 grand.
10 grand. I thought about it, but I ain't got time to
get in that contest.
You know, I used to compete when I was young, but I don't have that. I don't want to do that stuff no more. But I am proud of you. You're doing a good job. Really, as a Christian as well. You're doing a great job. I mean, I've been intending to talk to both of you guys about it. Y'all see the vision. Y'all see where we headed. And people think a lot of you. They really do. You know, I like how you handle yourself on site and when you deal with the superintendents and all that stuff. You're doing a real good job, you know. And Dom, I really commend you. You're an outstanding young man. You really is. You are outstanding. And I tell you, I just know what God is doing. And like Kendric said, God is going to bust this thing wide open. He's going to bust this thing. Honey, you're doing a fabulous job. You know, what you're doing in the office and so on. Pat myself on the back. I know I'm doing a good job. I can't say nothing about it because she ain't a part of it. She just talk all that old stuff. But y'all, it really feel good to have your family right there working with you. And you ain't got to watch. You know how we always talk about the dagger in the back. And, you know, you got them right there working. And the thing that makes me feel so good about it, and I'm going to say it, I'm going to be done. It's something I told David. I know it's been over 20 years ago, me and David had this conversation. Because it used to irritate me when we talk about that. And I used to tell him, I said, David, my boys ain't working on construction work. That's the last thing in the world I want them to do. Remember, we had multiple conversations like that. David, you all know how David do. That little smile like he's doing right now. You'll see. I said, I'm telling you, you don't know what you're talking about. My kids ain't gonna play no brick. They ain't doing this stuff. I don't want them doing it. I worked them like a dog when they were little. I was doing that on purpose. That's why they wouldn't ride with me. They'd ride to work with me. They'd catch a ride home because they said, I don't know how to go home. And I did that on purpose. Trying to deter from it. And then they come to find out here they are land brick. That's crazy. I had to eat them words. But I'm proud of you guys. You guys keep up the good work. And I'm telling you, you're going to see the sky is the limit.